Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Estera, soft skill trainer, certified global trainer, international inspirational speaker, educationist, welcoming you to our seventh episode on Talk Show for Experts Coffee with Estera, powered by Independent Perception and Research Hub Malaysia, initiative by its founder and CEO, Professor Muhammad Shahriar Parvez. Independent Perception and Research Hub is an educational research and consultation center for talented researchers and educational scholars to share their perceptions on different issues and facts. The main goal of IPRH is to enlighten the independent perception of individual thoughts by knowledge sharing because IPRH always believes that knowledge is power. Dear audience, it's a great honor to introduce our economics expert, a walking library, brilliant guest of honor, Professor Dr. Ravinder Rena from South Africa. From South Africa, his country of origin is India. Let me give a brief introduction about him. He gave me his profile, I think it's more than 2 pages, but we don't have time for that. So I will read briefly the first paragraph. Professor Dr. Ravinder Rena is a profound academician and distinguished scholar in economics, writer, editor, advisor, motivational speaker, and public intellectual with over 31 years of teaching and research experience in Asia Pacific, Africa, and European continents. He has been an independent consultant and training expert. um, Professor Rena is currently working as Professor of Economics at DUT Business School, Faculty of Management Science, Durban University of Technology. That is DUT is Durban University of Technology, Durban, South Africa. He also serves as an adjunct professor of economics for master's and doctorate program at Monarch Business School, Monarch University, Hagendorn, Zug, Switzerland. Professor Rena serves as the honorary country director of South Africa for the International Internship University, IIU, and Igniting Dreams for Young Minds, IDYM, Global University, India. He serves as president um, for South Africa, the Yes You Can International UK. Further, he works as a visiting professor for many universities, notably the Sri University, Cuttack, India, and distinguished professor at SPARS Global Business School, New Delhi, India. He also serves as Global President, Economic Affairs of All India Sustainable Development Council, AISDC. Dear audience, please join me in welcoming this prominent, admirable, and extraordinary educator. Welcome, Professor Ravinder Rena, to our show. Hello, sir.
Thank you very
Namaste.
much, Professor Dr. Estera Malaji. Thank you for inviting. And also, I would like to acknowledge and thank the president and the founder of this particular forum, Independent Perception and Research Hub of Malaysia, Professor Muhammad Parvez, and to you as well to inviting me for the coffee. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Let's have coffee with Estera first. Sir? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Let's have coffee.
Can you see my
Yes.
can you able to
Yes.
see my mug? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I
Thank
can
you very
see
much. Cheers.
now.
Cheers. Cheers. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you very much.
You can have a sip.
Yes. Yes.
Great. Let's start. Yeah. Before we talk, we have
Thank
a
you.
drink first. Fantastic, Professor. Uh, I you are such an experienced educator this field. Yeah, education wise, you are the king, I think, in economics. Yeah. So, shall we start with uh, you introducing about yourself? Can you tell us briefly about yourself, sir?
Thank you, Professor Estera, for inviting me once again for this Coffee with You talk show. It's indeed a proud privilege and honor for me to be part of your program as a guest. As you introduced me already, you covered the first part of the introduction. I would like to mention that my name is Dr. Professor Ravinder Rena. I'm a professor of economics and currently working at the Urban University of Technology, South Africa. And I've got 31 years of experience in different continents of the world, starting from African continent till Australian continent, European continent, and I also visited more than 42 countries across the globe. And I worked in different countries, particularly from Eritrea, Papua New Guinea, in Australia, and Namibia, and South Africa, Switzerland, and so on. I also work as the editor in chief of an international journal of Education, Economics, and Development, which is Scopus indexed and also ABDC ranked journal, one of the prominent journals. I'm the founding editor in chief of that journal. I served as the editor in chief for more than 8 years. That is published by Switzerland and UK by Indus Science. And I also serve currently as the associate editor of the Bottom Line, which is one of the prestigious journals, research journals published by Emerald UK, which is a Scopus indexed and Q1 rated journal, and it is also indexed in Web of Science. And I also associate more than 35 journals as editorial board member, senior editor, and so on and so forth. So that is brief about me, and I currently supervise the masters and PhD students. I also produced more than 60 PhDs and master students across the globe. So that is a brief note, and I served in India for some time and a few other countries, as I indicated to you. And I also published more than 150 articles in peer-reviewed journals, which are scientific journals, and majority of them are Scopus indexed journals. And I also published more than 50 chapters in edited books that are published by Taylor and Francis and Springer Nature and most of the Palgrave and Macmillan and so on. So that is a brief about. And if somebody wanted to Google about me, the Google will tell more about me than telling about myself. Professor, thank you.
Great, Professor. You have given us a very good introduction. Dear audience, thank you for being with us. Continue to like and comment our talk show, and feel free to ask if there's any questions. We will answer you later. Let's enjoy this amazing moment with our economic expert. Let's, Professor, can I ask you another question? The second question would be, can you shed a light on global higher education?
Thank you
Can you
very
shed
much,
a
Sarah.
light
Yes,
on
well,
higher
soon
education?
after I completed my master's in 1992, for the last 31 years down the line, I started teaching at the university and different institutions across the globe. I served in India for 5 years, and thereafter, more than 10 years, I served in Eritrea, which is a northeastern African country, which is liberated from Ethiopia. And I served there, and I served as a head of the department of business studies in Papua New Guinea University of Technology. And I also served in Namibia University of Technology in different capacities. And I also served at the University of the Western Cape, Cape Town, South Africa, Northwest University, South Africa, and currently the Urban University of Technology and Monarch University, Switzerland, and so on. So through all this, more than 3 decades of experience, I would like to state some of the important facts and issues pertaining to the higher education of the world. So let me give you an overall picture that in the world we have today, we got 8 billion people living on this planet. And out of this 8 billion people, we got more than 200 countries that are situated in different continents. So from this, we got more than 25,000 cities in the whole world. So that is the total number. And if you look at the number of lecturers and professors, India is one of the leading countries in terms of the higher education. China, of course, definitely, because China, India, they are the two largely populated countries. India is the first largest, and the second is China. So eventually, the number of students of India is about 265 million people. That is close to the population of Indonesia as a country, and that is more than the population of Pakistan, more than the population of Brazil, and also Nigeria. So if you look at the numbers of students, 265 million students, that is absolutely a massive number. And if you look at
Yes.
the overall student numbers, not only in higher education, but also in general, probably elementary till higher education, tertiary education, the number of students are close to 2.3 billion people actually. So one can imagine the fact that we got a massive number of students, 2.3 billion students out of 8 billion people that we have, and we got more than 85 million teachers across the globe at different levels. So this is what the higher education span, and India has got more than 1,050 universities uh, that make India as one of the largest countries in terms of education sector. And America has got more than 1,200 universities, and they got more than 3,000, colleges with different levels. So in India also we got about 50,000 colleges. Some of those colleges could be bigger than Malaysian universities, or South African universities, or most of the African universities, because some of the universities like IGNO, Indira Gandhi National Open University, that has got more than 8 million students actually. So some of the countries like Netherlands, and they do not have the population. The country population itself is less than 8 millions. So that is what the higher education is all about. So higher education, particularly for the past 2 decades, Estera ji, that
Yeah.
it has been taking different dimensions. Every year it's been expanding. For instance, for the past 20 years, the advent of globalization in 1990s and so on, and also various other technological advancements that are taking place in the internet revolution, Internet of Things, and we have AI, artificial intelligence, and so on. So the education, particularly at the higher education level, it is moving to there's a paradigm shift. It is moving to a different dimension. So I think in African side, Africa is a continent. If I just would like to give
Yes.
a little bit of a snapshot view, that we have close to 1,300 universities in African continent. We got in Africa, we have about 1.4 billion people living in the African continent, where we have 55 countries in the whole of Africa. So, of course, Nigeria is the largest in terms of population, in terms of economy, and Egypt is the second largest economy, and also South Africa is the third largest economy. So, we have all in all about 1,300 universities in African continent. In South Africa, for example, we got only 25 universities in the country. So this is a kind of picture I would like to share with you and our audience, that this is how the higher education system looks like. So 85 million teachers working in higher education. One can imagine that is almost the same population of Germany as a country. So Germany population and the number of teachers working in different levels in the world is about 85 millions actually. In India alone, we got probably about 10 to 12 million teachers working in different capacities. And where India has got 15 lakh schools, that is about 1.5 million schools actually.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so much. Okay, shall we go to the third question?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, amazing answer you gave. It's really a very good statistic for all of us to learn, to know what is going on around the world when education is concerned in this industry. Okay, what are the key challenges for higher education in the future? What are the
Well,
key challenges for higher education in the future, Prof?
yes, Prof, I think that is a very pertinent and very good question. That the higher education, from the beginning, of course, we have so many challenges evolving from time to time. There could be teaching learning challenges, there could be financial challenges, there could be dropout challenges, there could be funding issues, there could be ability to learn or willingness to learn, and so on and so forth. So I'd like to take you to different routes that the higher education of this particular world today is facing immense challenges, particularly with the advent of the technological revolutions. If we see that there is a kind of interconnectivity between the technological development one side and the higher education on the other side. Of course, they should complement with each other. They should not compete with each other. But in
Yeah,
reality, it is going the other way around. So if I give you the challenges, particularly in developing countries, the education is becoming a kind of what do we call it is accessible only to the richer communities. The poorer and the deprived communities in the world, they are unable to have the higher education. Let me give you a snapshot view. If you look at the OECD countries, Organization of Economic Development countries, most of them are coming from Europe, 27 countries or so. There, the people they have got bachelor degree and above, they are about 47%, nearly 50%. If you come to Africa, for instance, we do not have even 15%. So you are comparing with 50% in Europe and 15% in Africa. And there are so much deviation. Why we are having this challenge in Africa is basically one can understand that we have the resources in African continent. Almost more than 2 decades of my life, I've been teaching in Africa. I worked in different African countries, so I know the problems very well. But the problems that are encountered by the parents, one side. And if you look at South Africa, for instance, Professor Estera,
yeah,
there are more than 75% of the women are single mothers, unlike in Malaysia, unlike in India, unlike in many other Asian countries or African countries. So 75% of the mothers, they are single mothers. They have to raise their children single-handedly without having any financial backup from the men or the husbands or the ex-husbands or the boyfriends, whichever the situation. So how do they able to send their children to the institutions? If they finish their let's say primary schooling, and they are unable to come to the secondary schooling or matriculation level. If they finish their matriculation, which is grade 12 in South Africa, they are unable to come to the university level. So they do have, because the fee structures in South Africa and everywhere in the world, they are climbing up every year. So that is where the digital divide is taking place. So meaning that the people who would like to study, who has inclination to study, the digital divide is dividing them and creating the boundaries. Creating, they are not
yeah,
creating, not building the bridges, but creating the boundaries actually. So that is why the common man is getting far away from the higher education and not getting the dexterity, the skill, that skill set that he needs to get a job or to make a livelihood. So that is the basic problem in African situation. That, and the students who are studying at the higher education, they may be exposed to the drugs, they may be exposed to some of the unproductive situations, and eventually they becoming dropping out. So they are not able to complete their studies, and that is also playing a major role in terms of the learning process. And they are
yes,
also maybe exposed to the alcohol abuses and so on. So that is the teenagers or the age group of 18 to 25. Probably some of them, they do not have maturity, what is good and what is bad. So therefore they are also facing a lot of challenges, and then eventually the dropout, or they are unable to complete their studies. And there's so much money has been invested from the governments one side, from the parents on the other side, and from the institutions, whether they're private or public. They also spend huge amount of money, but we could not able to derive the desired results because the students are unable to complete. So, and once they complete, what is happening is that they are not able to find the job. They have the paper in hand, and many of them, they do not have the skill equivalent to the paper.
Oh,
And if they have a bachelor degree, BTech degree, Bachelor of Technology, Bachelor of Engineering, or Master of Economics, or MSc, Master of Science in Economics, or Artificial Intelligence, whichever the way it is, they do not have a required skill set. They should be in par with the degree. A
yes,
degree, master degree, is the highest qualification, of course. After that, there is only a PhD is left. So that is leveled in South Africa and most part of the world. It's level 9 qualification framework, and the PhD is the level 10. So 9 and 10, they are the top qualifications. If somebody has got master degree, they could be have able to think critically to solve the
yes,
problem. So that critical thinking is missing. If we do not have the critical thinking, then whatever the skill set that you have, the dexterity that you have, is not going to work. You cannot solve the problems, rather, you are going to create the problems. So, this is the fundamentals, this is the critical issue, SRG. And so, that is why there is so much, it is not one man job, it is not the government one side, it should be PPP, a public private partnership agreements. So, which means that we all should be part and parcel of this challenge. We all should work hand in hand. It's not an institution alone, it's not the teacher alone, it's not the parent alone. It are different stakeholders, even the corporate sector themselves. They should come forward. They should try to engage what they need from these educational institutions. If we could able to produce a skilled technician or a skilled engineer, whether that engineer is compatible to work in the current situation or current arena, current system that was designed for world of work. So those are the things that there is a complete mismatch between what they studied and what they are going to do. 80% of the time, the qualification that they obtained and the skill, knowledge, the wisdom that they obtain, they are not going to use in their real life situation. So these are the critical challenges that higher education has been facing. I don't know if you want me to elaborate more on that, or I could love to do that. And if not, you can have some follow-up question. Then I will cover some of those issues.
yes.
Yes, Tarji.
Thank you, Professor. Such a brilliant answer. And I would love to hear from you more, you see, because you are a very experienced person. So it's nice to hear from you. But due to the time limitation, I have to go on. We definitely can meet again in another show. Yeah. So it's really very sad to know that that's imbalance. Yeah, if you compare to different countries, there's really imbalance within the country as well as with if you compare with other countries in the world. And as you mentioned, critical thinking is absent, although they are highly qualified. Critical thinking is so crucial. You know, if we can see some people, they are not highly educated, but they are good in critical thinking. They know how to solve problem. They can think better. So that is what sometimes you say natural wisdom. But it's very sad if one is highly educated and critical thinking is not there. Oh, I just can't imagine. Anyway, I think this is not like what you mentioned, Professor. It's not a one person's contribution to resolve this problem and provide quality education as required by SDG 4. Yeah. So, Professor, after this serious talking, let's go and have a visit, have a look at your photo album. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. This is your handsome face here, Prof.
Thank
So
you.
nice. Professor
Yeah,
look
that
very
was about
handsome. You look very
2005
handsome.
picture. That is
Yes.
2005 picture, Prof. I was like that. Now, with all these, students and research, now all my hair's gone.
You still look good, Professor. You still look good. You see, nobody
Thank you.
stays the same till the age. So this is a process of aging. It's fine. But I really admire your energy, your enthusiasm towards education and teaching. You see, this is the most important thing in any human. Otherwise, by your age, they'll get bored in life. Fantastic, Professor. Let's go and see your album next. Before that, dear audience, thank you so much for all your comments. I welcome you again. Thank you. Let's now you see your family photo. Look at your two kids. Yeah, Professor, from small, innocent little ones. Now look at them, they have grown. This is your
Thank you.
son. Yeah,
Yes, that
your
is
son.
true, Professor Estera. That my children and my wife, when I was working in Papua New Guinea as a head of the department, and my children, they are too small that time. Maybe my daughter is about 4 years, 4.5 years. My son is about 7 years or so. Now my son and my daughter, they are doing their
Look,
MBBS, that is Bachelor of Surgery and Bachelor of Medicine. So both of them are going to be medical doctors. They are in second year MBBS now, and my wife is also currently working as a warden in the medical college. So they are based in India right now. And my mother also, you can see my mother, Ravinder Rena, and that is my
yeah,
family picture. I think we had one of the functions uh,
yeah.
3.5 years ago. I think I was playing some tennis, recently, and then
That's
that is the
fine.
picture in South
Wow,
Africa.
wow.
Yes.
Fantastic, Doctor. Professor, you said that now you're old, your hair dropped, but you are so much interested in sports. That's admirable. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
really
Thank
very
you.
nice to see that you pick up tennis. Wow, then your arms must be very strong. Yeah,
Yes.
that is no joke.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's go to the congratulations, Professor.
Thank you
Your
very
children
much,
has
Professor
succeeded to
Esther.
this level. Of course, your wife has contributed a lot when you are away, yeah, and
Yeah,
working in Africa.
yeah.
Congratulations again. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, let's talk about this magazine.
Well, I think this one I got a best PhD gold medal from Osman University more
This
than two
one,
decades ago. That the
yeah.
gold medal that you can see, that was the best PhD gold medal bestowed upon me as the best PhD scholar among the students of accounting, finance, business management, and social sciences. So that
Oh,
is the gold medal, and also I was among the top 10 social leaders who inspires. That was a cover page covered by the World Achievers, magazine, and that is the organization.
this
This
one,
is
this is the cheapest.
AISDC, and that is
Yeah,
the I'm the president of the All India Sustainable Development Council. That is the picture, and then this police dress. You can see that I was a
this
NCC
one.
cadet. National Cadet Corps, which is in India. That was I was very young, maybe 18 years or something. That was
Wow.
taken in 1988, and then I was also playing cricket with my classmates. They were all my MPhil classmates while I was doing my MPhil degree. I didn't tell you that I got 6 degrees, Professor Astaraji. My bachelor degree, BA in Economics and Management, Masters in Economics, and thank you. And also MPhil in Economics. While I was doing MPhil degree, those are my classmates. So we were playing cricket and we went for
Prof,
some picnic.
Prof, this is
And
your classmates. These two
yes,
ladies are
yeah,
your classmates.
yes, they
Wow.
are my classmates. Yeah, they are my
Wow,
classmates, and
they
all
were
other
studying.
gentlemen. Some of
Wow,
them
in
are big
sari they
police
can play with.
officers.
They can
Yes,
play
that's correct.
cricket in sari. Not bad. Indian women can do anything wearing sari. Because
Absolutely.
when I was in I think Bangalore, Bangalore airport, I saw Indian ladies in sari cleaning toilets. And it's so amazing. In
That's
in
right.
Malaysia, I think we can't do that much wearing sari.
Yes.
We do wear sari, but not to do any work, tough.
Yeah.
You know, wow,
Yes.
fantastic. Okay, let's
Yes, the
go to this.
other picture, Professor. Recently, about 3 months ago, I was at
Ah,
Varanasi, and also the Allahabad, where I was the keynote speaker, guest of honor for the international conference. So
yes.
that picture was taken about 3 months ago in Allahabad in India. I was there in India, and this University of Zululand. That picture was taken, I think, about 6, 7 years ago. I was one of the experts of one of the committees. So I went there for University of Zululand in South Africa. Thank you
Fantastic.
for
And
bringing
this
this
one,
thing.
the University of Zululand, the last
Yeah,
one.
yeah, Zulu land. I think Zulu community is one of the dominant ethnic groups in South Africa. We got about 17 to 20% of the population of South Africa. They are Zulus, and the president Jacob Zuma previously he was also from Zulu. So there is a university called Zululand, University of Zululand, and I visited University of Zululand some years ago. And that time I took that picture. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, we have done this. We are done with the slides, Professor. Yeah, I wish I could have more, but because of the time, yeah. Okay,
No
let's
problem.
go to some light moments questions. Light moment question. Yeah,
Yes.
Doctor, Doctor, Professor Doctor. What can you share with us? What do you love the most about teaching? A brief answer.
Well,
What you love?
I always, yes, astrology, I always think that teaching is a noble profession because it is the only profession that teaches all other professions. The medical doctors are being taught by professors or lecturers, and engineers are by being taught. Everybody in this world of work, they are all taught by somebody, teachers and professors. So therefore it is a noble profession. That's why I've been there for more than 3 decades of my life. I devoted and dedicated for teaching. I still enjoy, I got a passion for the teaching. I teach not only in Africa but in the rest of the world. I know there are a lot of students, one way or the other way. We interact and we engage into fruitful discussions, improving the quality of research and so on.
Exactly, Professor. I can understand what you are sharing because the passion is very important. As for me, I did my accountancy, I did my IT engineering, but I never stopped teaching. So because of the passion, those who teach with passion are true educators. They can do well whatever they teach. Yeah. So I can see you are a living example. Fantastic
Thank you.
answer. Next,
Thank you.
okay, Professor. If one thing, can you share with us one thing which others don't know about you, but you like to share with audience now? One thing which nobody knows about you, which you want to share. Like example, my last guest, she said, "Oh, I don't mind sharing. It is secret, but it's okay. I will share. I'm a greatest copycat." He said. Then he told
Greatest
me
what?
why. Yeah, he's the greatest copycat. Then he shared
Okay.
why he said he's a great copycat. People don't know, but he does that. He said he copies and do things better for better. So something like that. If you have anything, if you don't have, it's okay. It's okay.
Well, I think I would like to mention that although I'm a professor that with 31 years experience, but I'm an introvert. I'm a shy
Oh,
person also. So probably that is one of the things that I would like to share. Yeah.
okay, okay. You are a shy person. Wow, wow.
Yes.
Yes, yes. But you are a very decent person, Professor, because I
Thank
talk
you.
to you over the phone, we communicate over WhatsApp. I see, I respect you a lot because you are a very respectful person. I
Thank you.
appreciate that. Yeah. So, one light moment question. In today's, your success is tremendous. Yeah. So, can you share which woman is behind your success? Your mother or your wife or your daughter? Okay, it's okay. Just share.
If my mother and my daughter or wife see this program, whatever they feel, it's fine. The honest truth that I want to tell from my heart is that I will definitely tell my mother. My Although she doesn't know much about education, but she made me to study 6 degrees, and she made me to be a successful student and successful professor. So therefore, I always give credit to my mother. And though
Yes.
she doesn't know who is professor, what the professor does, but she made me to be a professor. And so all the credit, whatever I achieved today, my mother is 82 years old. She's living in India. I just spoke to her yesterday. And so I always love my mother. She's my creator, she's my goddess, she's my angel, and I always salute her. So whatever education that she has or she doesn't have, but she made me the man who is what I am today. But of course, my wife and my daughter also, they play their role as a wife and daughter. They always stimulate me. They always give their positive kind of feedbacks, and the love. Most importantly, the love and the care. So all of them are supported. One way, my sister Lakshmi. One day, I got only one sister. I'm only one son. We are only two people. So my sister also inspires me. I think my mother. Yeah. Thank you.
Lovely, lovely, Professor. Exactly. No matter whoever comes into your life, your mother, your father should be always first. Yeah. Without them, we are nothing. Yeah. So
That's correct.
your answer is really wonderful,
That's
Professor.
why we say, Estaraji, we say that Matru Devo Bhava, that in Sanskrit, in Indian language,
Uh,
Pitru Devo Bhava. That means your mother and your father, they are the first god and goddess in your life.
yes. Yeah.
None of us, we see God, but at least your living gods are your parents. So every
Yeah.
child in this world must respect,
Exactly.
love, and care for the parents.
Yes, every children must respect and love and provide for the parents. Yeah, because
Absolutely.
yeah, we cannot see God, and parents are God's gift for every child. Yeah,
That's right.
parents are gift of God for every child. We don't get
Absolutely.
parents first from the sky. God give
that,
us. Yeah,
that is
everyone. We don't choose our parents. God
that is
give us
very
the yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
God chooses
Estaraji.
the
Yeah.
parents, and we got the blessing from God. This,
Yes.
we have to always remember. Fantastic answer, Professor. Let's go
Thank you.
now to our last question on our education. Okay,
Yes.
yeah. How does the industry 4.0 affect the higher education and its future?
That's a very pertinent question, Estaraji, that we've been having four industrial revolutions. The first industrial revolution that contributed for the growth and development, because we invented the steam engine, and eventually there's a massive amount of production, a large scale production from minimum man-made to the machine-made. So that contributed a lot. That was taken place around 1760 to 1840, about 8 years period, particularly taken place within Europe, but it was also gradually spread to Asia, Africa, and everywhere in the world. So that is the first revolution. The second revolution is basically electricity revolution, which was taken place probably 1900 and so on and so forth, or 1870 upwards. There was electricity that came in, and the electricity is also helping us a lot. It's a blue revolution that we call, and then revolution. So there are a lot of development that are occurred with the electricity revolution. Now, the third revolution is none other than ICT revolution that was started from 1960s until recently, that information communication technological revolution. The fourth revolution, industrial revolution that we talk is it is the artificial intelligence today, machine learning. We have
Yes.
cloud technologies, cloud computing. We have got Internet of Things. We got big data, analytics, business analytics. So all these development that are rapidly occurring, blockchain, and so these things are taking place, particularly for the past 1 year, 4 to 5 years or 10 years down the line. So some of them, they are talking about fourth industrial revolution, and some of them, they are already countries like Netherlands, Finland, and Scandinavian countries or South Korea, Canada, New Zealand, and so on. They're talking about fifth industrial revolution already. So whatever industrial revolution that we talk about, the fourth industrial revolution, basically, that is why we say 4.0. So this is going to have a tremendous impact on the higher education institutions, also the people who studied the higher education, actually. The degrees, the qualification that we obtain. The most importantly, millions of jobs are being, taken out by these industries, the technological development. We are talking about is taking our jobs aside, and they are stealing our jobs, in fact. So therefore, in the future, millions of people are going to be unemployed because of this technological evolution. So that is why a technology one side it should support, but unfortunately, whenever there is a revolution that is taking place, that is also having a negative impact on the job market particularly. So our graduates, they should also understand that it is not about the acquiring the qualification. It is the basic values that they need to obtain for them to be a good citizen of this world. The basic value system, the ethics, the morals, that is what is important. The positive attitudes is also important. It doesn't matter whether somebody is a professor or a vice chancellor or a director or a minister or a president or a prime minister. It doesn't matter. Education always should provide some humbleness, and how
Yes.
humble you are, how respectful you are to the other fellow human being. If you are a professor, you don't treat your own students or your own stakeholders in a positive way, and you add some value in the value chain system, then somebody who is a common man is better than you actually. So that is why in this overall scenario, these industrial revolutions that are occurred, unfortunately, though we have technological advancement, health technological development, there are so much inventions or discoveries that have been made in health industries, in entrepreneurship area, in science area, in engineering area. And that is why, although you are in Malaysia and I am sitting in South Africa, we can still see each other, we can talk to each other. So these are all advancements, these are all developments that are occurred. There is no doubt in that. But that is also now, when I went to Italy, I would like to give an example, Estaraji, that I was in Italy in 2011. I wanted to take a kind of passport size picture, passport size photo. Then when I was exploring in the town where I was, and people they said that no, we don't have a photo studio here. And then I went to some box, I put some money there, and then it gave me a clear instruction that okay, you stand, and I stood, and I pressed the button again. It took the picture and it gave you the picture. So you don't need that actually. You don't need a photographer now.
Mm,
Everything is become, yeah. So millions of jobs are being lost with this
yeah.
industrial revolution, and it is also going to have in the near future. It will have a detrimental effect on the job market. So we need to prepare ourselves. All the people who have got education, social skills. If one has got social skills, they can still serve the people. Serving the people in our philosophy, serving the people is serving the God. So
Yes.
that is why everybody should serve the people, because nobody is willing to serve the people nowadays. So that is
Yeah.
why everybody, if they serve the people, then they always get a job. They don't need to be an engineer or a director or a smart technician in working in some of the industries, but they can always find the work.
Yes, Professor. What you have shared is really the what is going to happen in future. Yes, because when Industry 4.0 takes over, you know, artificial intelligence and all this coding, cloud computing, and all that, so more and more people are going to be unemployed. But how do you think we are going to face this problem? How more and more people are graduating, more and more young people are graduating. So how do you think it's definitely going to be always mismatch, right?
Yes,
Imbalance.
absolutely. Yeah, Professor Estera, I think that is what is going to happen. Now, the population that we see today is 8 billion. It is going to grow maybe 9.7 billion in the coming 50 to 70 years period. But thereafter, population is going to decline. Population in
Yeah.
the coming few hundred years, population is now India is the largely populated country in the world today with
Yes.
1.42 billion people. Indian population will decline to 600 million people maybe after 500 or 1000 years later. So the population that we see today is not going to be the same, because the fertility rates among the men and women also declining substantially.
Exactly.
So therefore, that
Exactly.
will reduce the people. So
Yeah.
when the population decline, and then it will also try to balance. That's why we have a economic theory called Malthusian theory of population. And Malthus, Robert Thomas Malthus also propounded that the more people we grow, and more also destruction take place, like earthquakes, like
Yeah.
tsunamis, and maybe pandemics like COVID-19. So with the population declines. Now COVID-19 alone take about 7 million people died with COVID-19 for the past 2.5, 3 years actually.
Yeah, obviously, the professor is right. That's really very interesting. We can talk the whole day about this topic, Anyway, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much. Such an interesting and insightful sharings, Professor Dr. Ravinder Rena. We love to have you again. Thank you. Dear audience, I hope you have enjoyed this amazing, interesting sharing by Professor Dr. Ravinder Rena from South Africa. Till we meet again in next show next week, Thursday. Stay tuned always with Independent Reception and Research Hub Malaysia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Estera ji. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.